What's up, ladies and gents? I'm your host, Vivek Wallace, here on the VIP Crew podcast. Got a special guest in the building with us this evening. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. One thing for sure, you want to know. So after tonight, I'm going to make sure you're going to know. What I love most about this young man, he's not only a prodigy of Floyd Mayweather, but he's a legitimate two-sport star in the making that's currently signed to TMT Promotions, the money team, with Floyd Mayweather. So with no further ado, I want to go ahead and bring him in. His name is Joseph Brown. Joseph, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you for joining us. So I want to start out and just kind of lay the groundwork for those out there, like I said, who don't know. Your resume is crazy before you even got to the boxing world, and we'll touch a little bit on that. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm showing 6-time national champion, 11-time state champion, junior middleweight world champion in the Muay Thai circuit, 70-0 combined amateur record, boxing and Muay Thai. That's pretty sick. Am I right on all of that?
Yeah, you're right on all that. My dad was a martial artist his whole life, so he kind of wanted me to follow this. But I did everything growing up, and I competed in everything as an amateur and everything.
I've talked to a lot of amateurs and new fighters over the years. I don't remember talking to any this decorated across multiple fight disciplines. You're basically an ultimate fighter, which is bananas. You mentioned that your dad was into into fighting sports. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, he grew up doing martial arts his whole life.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, okay, so you're 5-0, 4 knockouts in the boxing circuit, coming off your victory over Ezekiel Duran on March 22nd. What are you up to now? You back in the gym, taking some time off? What are you up to now?
Yeah, I'm right back in the gym. I only take time off if I'm forced to or I have to, but I love being in the gym. Like when I'm not, I just get bored, like not doing nothing. Boxing's like my whole life. So yeah, I'm back training hard again, just staying ready for whatever's next.
That's awesome, man. That's dedication right there. So you're signed to TMT Promotions, the money team with Floyd Mayweather, which is an incredible endorsement in and of itself. It's like a young basketball player being signed by Michael Jordan. I'm sure that was a pretty nice shot in the arm for confidence for you. How'd that all fall in place?
Well, my dad had became friends with Jeff Mayweather first, like online, originally just through like social media when I was a little kid. And I think when I was 14 is when I traveled to Las Vegas for the first time and trained with him. And he became my trainer. And, just from being with Jeff and then training in Floyd's gym all the time, I guess, maybe word got around. But, I mean, one of the days when I was like 16, Floyd walked in the gym while I was training. And we kind of, started, chopping it up from there. And, yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's a hell of a person to learn from. I personally look at Floyd as not only the best boxer in this era, but statistics show you could have a strong argument for best boxer ever. And that's amazing. So, you have the whole boxing and MMA side. Which one did you start training with first?
I started when I was 3, I started a karate. And then when I was 6, I got into boxing. And then I think shortly after that, maybe when I was 7, that's when I got into everything. So kickboxing, grappling, all that. I got into everything after that.
That's crazy, man. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of guys out there I've dealt with to be able to do both of those. Some guys get a little older and try to merge into a different lane, but to have that from your age or that age is outstanding. So who are some of the boxing influences that you looked up to when you were younger?
Growing up, I feel like boxers I looked up to was my top 2 was always Floyd and Roy Jones. Those are my favorites growing up.
Yeah, Roy Jones Jr. was incredibly phenomenal. I mean, I was blessed to grow up and pretty much see his entire career unfold. Unfortunately, it turned south towards the end, but his ability and reflexes were just, I don't even really know how to put it into words. The guy was like a cat. But speaking of which, as I watched some of your footage, one of the things I noticed you do, and this is something a lot of people don't talk much about, but one of the things I noticed that seems to come kind of natural for you is your punch selection. You got a really advanced punch selection for a guy your age. How does that happen? Is that just your cerebral ability to think while you're fighting? Is it natural? What would you attribute that to?
I think, I got to give God glory for, all my skills and attributes that I have. But, I guess that's just something I just got, I feel like, ring IQ is one of my best attributes. So, that's just something I was blessed with one. And then probably, again, just being surrounded. Like, I've been able to go around and work with and, spar with and just train with some of the best fighters around. So just, that's something that I noticed that the best of the best do. They're all very good with their punch selection. So that's something that, I just picked up along the way.
Yeah, that's one of the things, for whatever reason, we don't always hear many fans or media talk about, but it's actually one of the more critical elements of execution in the ring for a fighter. If a guy is giving you a shot and you're not taking it, eventually you're going to get caught.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so when Floyd came around, it was Zab Judah and Miguel Cotto and some of the other younger guns that came up in his era. Was there anyone coming up in this era that you can identify and say, you know what, at some point, me and this guy are probably going to lock horns for something pretty big? Anybody on the radar?
To be honest with you, not really. I feel like in my weight class right now, there's not too many, up-and-coming people. I feel like most of them are just, already up there or, well-established already. So, I feel like I might probably be one of those people that get moved kind of quickly. So, whoever the top guys are in my weight class right now, I'm sure most of them will probably still be around by the time I get up there, in all honesty. So,
yeah, no, I could totally see that. So on, if I could shift gears, I want to kind of get your view and your perspective on the sport in general. I only personally believe in 1 pound for pound. And a lot of times they do it where it's a list and it's 4 or 5 guys. I never really subscribed to that. And when Sugar Ray Robinson was the pound for pound king, it was given to one man because one man had the ability to transcend all weights, size, whatever. In my era, it was Mayweather. Who do you look at right now? I won't say pound for pound, but let's say you're the top 3 best fighters in the sport, your opinion. Who are they?
Currently or all time?
Currently,
I'd say probably Canelo, Usyk, and maybe Crawford.
That's a pretty solid list. It's hard to argue with that list. I think Canelo became a totally different fighter after Floyd schooled him. That was a hell of a fight.
Yeah, I agree.
So one last thing I do want to ask you before we get ready to tie it all up is, at some point there's a consideration for you maybe to cross into the other lane and not only win the title in the boxing world, but perhaps go ahead and try to win the title in the MMA circuit. Is that something that's on your radar? If so, at what point in your career do you think that's something you actually consider?
Yeah, it's most definitely on my radar. Like I said, because I grew up doing mixed martial arts and I competed in everything and won in everything. I'm very experienced in that, and I wouldn't be somebody that's crossing over with no MMA experience at all. I've won championships and all that as an amateur. So I don't think the crossover is going to be that hard for me at all. And I still keep my kickboxing and everything up to date. Right now, even throughout my professional, boxing career, I'm still training and everything. And it's kind of hard to say when I'm going to cross over. When the time is right, I'll make that transition.
Yeah, I definitely think, to support what you just said, when I looked at the footage, those kicks, I sure as hell wouldn't want to be standing across from you when you get to doing that. Your skill level is sick, and it's crazy to see someone, like I said earlier, that's that skilled on both sides. And not only that, but in the boxing ring, I saw that you also have a pretty good knack for slipping punches when you need to. So the diversity of your skill set is incredible. And I think that's awesome that you have that. So I don't want to tie you up too long, champ. I want to thank you for stopping by and checking us out. Before we tie this all up, why don't you go ahead and give the listeners out there your data? Where can they find you? What you want to say? Whatever you want to say to Mike Shores, go for it.
And thanks to all my fans and supporters and everything. I'll be back in the ring real soon. I guess all my social media platforms is Real Joseph Brown if you want to follow me there.
Okay, that's what's up. And that's I'm assuming I know Instagram. You do Facebook, TikTok, any of that other stuff?
Yeah, it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Yo, well, listen, I appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing a lot more from you. Next time you jump in the ring, I might even be out there covering the fight. I have to come shake your hand, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, most definitely, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You take care, champ. Be good.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.